So I want to discuss a book by Hillis. He is a literary theorist, and he is a follower of Jacques Derrida. However, I want to discuss a book by him called Topographies, and that has to do with literary theory and how to, look at how to, criticize or, get down to the meaning of a certain thing based upon topography. Topographical names and descriptions in narratives, poems, and theoretical texts even. So you can basically do this, and I'll get to a sort of what a topography means in a sense in a bit. Translations of things from one topographical location to another. So what is meant by topography? It's setting. It's the place and time, the spatial temporal location in a certain text, and kind of that's a topography. It's a topography, according to Miller, is just that. It's a place and a time that a writer will set a certain event to occur or a certain narrative to occur in a piece of poetry or a piece of prose or whatever, and that's interesting, I think, because then you can sort of try to translate from one topographical location to another to sort of understand a certain thing and sort of decipher the meaning or something going on in a certain text. Given that Hillis Miller was a follower of Derrida, I'm not sure if he would be all about meaning or so. I'm not sure about that, but so basically, it's about a parable or a allegory sometimes. There's how topography delineates a parable or an allegory about something, and there's contours of places, and that's what topography is. When you are doing, say, geology, and you're looking at the topography of a certain area, you see little contour lines, whereas the contour lines get closer and closer together, you see like a mountain or a hill or something. So contours of places has to do with that. It kind of gives some sort of meaning or understanding to a certain text. So a sign, or a cluster of signs, it functions as a unique correspondence to a unique individual person or place. So he is using some form of signs here, or some form of signification as to how that whole thing works, how you can basically take a sign or a cluster of signs, and how that can be basically that you can translate that into being a unique place or person. Topography is also has to do with the person too, and how setting can also have to do with the person who's talking or even the person who is being talked about. So this has to do with science also, and what is something without its name, and names, and proper names and descriptions are a big thing here. And I'm not sure Hillis Miller is entirely following Derrida. I think that he does have, there are some sorry, there's like a wasp or something, I don't know. Okay, sorry. Topography was, it originally meant the creation of a metaphysical equivalent to words of a landscape, but now it's more understanding a person or a place or a setting in terms of topography or a certain location. Topography has to do with the efficacy of speech acts, power, responsibility, and legislative power. So it has to do with power, has to do with the speech act and language itself. I would like to see this in action. I mean, Hillis Miller does I guess sort of play this out. He does show how it works in Heidegger and Thomas Hardy and a lot of other different writers, I think including Dickens. But and it's how novels can ground themselves in a concepts of landscape in order to, I guess, give some more meaning or some more understanding to it. And that kind of has to do with Heidegger's concept of dwelling, which I think I need to, I guess, research more. And also has to do with Heidegger's idea of the thing, which is a thing encompassing anything that is divine or mortal, conforming to double antithetical concepts. So that I think is, in a way, Derridian. So it's sort of like identities and difference. How there's, you know, that's more Derridian, I would say, where you have the whole things between being and non-being, identity and difference, proximity and distance, stuff like that. How Heidegger and how you can sort of use him in a way, and also Derrida to, I guess, find identities and difference, and that's more of how you can bring things together and sort of understand a piece of work in some certain way. So a novel is a figurative mapping in an imaginary space, so you can sort of figuratively map something out in order to understand it better. So that's kind of a bit of a look at what Hillis Miller's topographies are, and how that can be looked at in language, how that translates to language, how that translates to metaphysics, I guess, or how you can use this to better understand a piece of writing. I think it's pretty cool. I'd like to think about this with respect to a certain work, similar to the way that Hillis Miller actually did when he wrote this book. So let me know what your thoughts are on this, and thank you for watching.